Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, FluentRise Podcast. Today, we're talking about something that almost every English learner wants: how to improve English vocabulary naturally. Now, when people hear the word vocabulary, many immediately imagine huge word lists, difficult dictionaries, endless memorization, and forgetting everything the next day. But what if I told you that vocabulary growth doesn't have to feel like studying? What if improving your English vocabulary could become something that naturally happens while you enjoy your day? Yeah, short pause, think about children. Children don't learn their first language by memorizing thousands of words from a book. Yeah. They hear words, they repeat words, they connect words with feelings, situations, people, and experiences. And slowly, those words become part of their life. That's exactly the idea we're going to explore today. Because vocabulary isn't about collecting words, it's about collecting understanding. Pause. Let me ask you something. Have you ever learned a new English word? You repeated it 5 times? You even wrote it in your notebook? And then 2 days later, you completely forgot it? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Most people don't struggle because they're bad at learning. They struggle because they're learning vocabulary in a way the brain doesn't enjoy remembering. Today, we'll talk about a smarter way, a more natural way, and a way that feels less like school and more like real life. Think about it. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, you check your phone, you watch one short video in English. You hear someone say, I'm exhausted. Now, instead of translating immediately, you connect it, exhausted, not just tired, very tired. You imagine yourself after a long day saying, I'm exhausted. That one connection becomes stronger than memorizing 20 random words. That's how natural vocabulary works. Words become experiences. Short pause. I want to tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I met someone who wanted to speak English fluently. He downloaded vocabulary apps. He wrote, he byte new words every day, he highlighted pages, he memorized definitions, but after months, he still couldn't speak confidently. Then one day he changed one habit. Instead of learning EBAT words, he started collecting just useful words daily, words he actually heard, words he could imagine using, words from videos, podcasts, movies, conversations. After a few months, something changed. He stopped translating. A word started appearing automatically, and that's the secret many people miss. Vocabulary grows through usage, not storage. Pause. So here's natural rule number 1. Stop chasing difficult words. Start mastering useful words. Many learners think advanced English means using complicated vocabulary, but real fluent speakers often use simple words very effectively. For example, instead of learning 10 rare words for happiness, learn how native speakers actually express emotion. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm looking forward to it. I'm feeling great, simple, natural, powerful. You don't need impressive words. You need usable words. Think about it. Here's a challenge. For the next 7 days, don't try to memorize huge lists. Instead, collect only 10 words per day. But follow this rule. Every word must come from real life, from something you watch, something you read, something you hear, and for each word, create one sentence about your own life. For example, word, improve, sentence. I want to improve my English every day. Word, opportunity, sentence, learning English gives me more opportunities. See the difference? Now, the word belongs to you. That's where memory becomes stronger. Short pause. Another mistake people make, they learn single words. But language doesn't work in single words. Language works in groups, small combinations. For example, don't learn, decision learn, make a decision. Don't learn, advice. Learn, give advice. Don't learn, progress. Learn, make progress. When you learn words together, speaking becomes easier because your brain doesn't build sentences from zero. It remembers patterns. And patterns create fluency. Pause. Now I want you to imagine your future self. 6 months from today, you open your mouth to speak English, and instead of searching for words, they arrive naturally. You understand more videos. And you speak more confidently, you express ideas more clearly. That future doesn't start with perfection. It starts with small daily exposure, one conversation, one podcast, one sentence, one word at a time. And in the next part, I'll show you practical methods to make vocabulary stick permanently without feeling like studying. So now let's move from understanding the idea to actually doing it, because knowing what works is one thing. Building it into your daily life is something else. And this is where most people stop. They watch motivational videos. They feel excited. Then the next morning, nothing changes. Today, I want to give you methods that are simple enough to actually follow. Okay. Short pause, method number 1. Okay. Create an English environment around you. And not an English classroom, and an English environment. There's a difference. Many people think they need 2 hours of study every day. You don't always need more study. Sometimes you need more exposure. Imagine this. You spend 3 hours daily scrolling social media. What if just 15 minutes of that became English? One short video. One podcast clip, one English caption, one article, small changes, big results. Think about it. Your brain remembers what it sees repeatedly. That means if English appears around you every day, your vocabulary starts growing automatically. Change your phone language. Follow English creators, read comments, watch interviews, listen while walking. You don't need to understand everything. You only need consistency. Pause, method number 2, use the notice and repeat technique. This method sounds simple, but it changes everything. When you hear a new word, don't pause and open a dictionary immediately. First, notice how it is being used. And listen again, what emotion is attached to it, what situation, what sentence. For example, someone says, "Yo, that movie was incredible." Now don't memorize, incredible, very good. Instead, notice how people use it when they're impressed. Then repeat, that meal was incredible, that view was incredible, that experience was incredible. Now your brain understands usage, not translation. That creates stronger memory. Short pause, method number 3. Talk to yourself. I know. At first it sounds strange, but stay with me. You already talk in your mind every day. You think, you imagine, you plan. So why not do some of that in English? For example, when making tea, I'm boiling water. When leaving home, I forgot my keys. When working, I need to finish this task. Tiny moments, tiny vocabulary practice, no pressure, no audience, but huge improvement. Because speaking creates memory faster than reading. Pause. And here's something important. Don't wait until your English becomes perfect before speaking. Speaking is not the reward. Speaking is the practice. Many learners delay. They say, I'll speak when my vocabulary becomes bigger, but vocabulary becomes bigger because you speak. That order matters. Think about it. Let me share another story. Imagine 2 learners. Person A memorizes WOBAT words. Person B learns only EBAT words, but uses them every day. After 3 months, who speaks better? Usually, person B. Because active vocabulary is more powerful than stored vocabulary. Your goal isn't knowing more, your goal is using more. Short pause. Now let's talk about one powerful habit. Keep a living vocabulary list, not a notebook full of definitions. Create 3 sections, new word, meaning in simple English, your own sentence. For example, word, confident, simple meaning, feeling sure about yourself, your sentence. I want to become confident while speaking English. That's it, no complicated notes, no pressure, and every week, review only the words you actually used, forget perfection. Build connection, pause, another natural method, read things slightly above your level, not impossible, not too easy. If every sentence feels difficult, you'll quit. If everything feels easy, you won't grow. Find that middle zone, understand most of it, and discover a few new words. That's where vocabulary expands naturally. And here's a trick, don't stop for every unknown word. Guess from context first. Train your brain to understand meaning naturally. That's exactly what fluent speakers do. Short pause. Before we end this part, I want to leave you with one question. What if your vocabulary problem, isn't actually a vocabulary problem? What if the real issue is not spending enough time around English? Think about that. Because in the next part, we'll talk about the habits that secretly destroy vocabulary growth. And the daily routine that can make your English improve faster? Welcome back. Until now, we've talked about something important. Vocabulary grows naturally when English becomes part of your daily life. But now we need to talk about something equally important. The habits that quietly stop people from improving. Because sometimes progress isn't blocked by what you're not doing. It's blocked by what you keep repeating. Short pause habit number 1, trying to learn too much. This feels productive, but often it creates frustration. And think about going to a gym. If someone tries to lift the heaviest weight on day 1, what happens? Exhaustion? Maybe even giving up. Vocabulary works the same way. If you try to learn new words today, your brain has no time to connect with them. At tomorrow, most of them disappear, but if you learn useful words, use them, hear them, repeat them. Those words stay. Slow growth is still growth. Pause. I want you to remember this line, consistency beats intensity. 1 hour every day beats 8 hours once a week. 5 useful words daily beat 50 forgotten words. Think about it. Now let's talk about habit number 2, fear of making mistakes. This one stops more learners than difficult grammar. Maybe you know the feeling, you know the word, and you want to say it, then suddenly you become nervous. What if I say it wrong? What if people laugh? What if my pronunciation isn't perfect? So you stay silent, but silence has a hidden cost. Words you don't use slowly disappear. Language grows through action, not through waiting. Short pause. Try this mindset. Use words before you feel ready, because confidence usually comes after action, not before. And think about riding a bicycle. Nobody becomes confident first and rides later. You ride, you wobble, you improve. Speaking English works the same way. Pause. Now, here's a practical routine. I call it the Sirwar minute vocabulary system. Simple. Realistic, easy to repeat. A minute. Tuuko, consume, watch, or listen to something in English. Podcast, short video, interview. Anything you enjoy, minute low sure, collect, choose only 3 useful words or expressions, not 10, not 20, 3. Minute sure wool, create, use those words in your own sentences, say them aloud, record yourself if possible. That's all. 15 minutes, imagine doing that every day for 6 months, 3 words daily. That becomes hundreds of words connected to real life. Think about it. And here's something surprising. Your cat. You don't need motivation every day. You need systems. Motivation changes. Systems stay. Some days you'll feel excited. Some days you won't. That's normal. But habits don't ask feelings for permission. They simply continue. Short pause. Let's talk about another hidden mistake. Translating every sentence. Many learners hear English. then immediately convert it into their first language. That creates delay. Try this instead. Connect English to images, feelings, actions. Okay, for example, if you hear, take a deep breath, imagine it, do it, don't translate first, build direct understanding. This feels difficult at the beginning, but later it becomes natural, and that's when fluency starts appearing. Pause. Here's a challenge for you. For the next hours or hours, choose one moment each day where you think only in English. Maybe while walking. Maybe while eating, maybe before sleeping. Even if your sentences are simple, keep going. For example, today was busy. I need more practice. That was interesting. Simple thoughts become stronger speaking. Think about it. Now imagine yourself 1 year from now. Someone starts speaking English to you, and instead of panic, you respond calmly, not because you memorized thousands of words, but because English became familiar, comfortable, natural. That transformation starts with tiny actions repeated over time. And in the next part, we'll talk about how to remember vocabulary for years, not days. And how fluent speakers keep learning without feeling overwhelmed. Welcome back. So far, we've talked about learning vocabulary naturally, building daily habits and avoiding the mistakes that slow progress. But now comes one of the biggest questions people ask. How do I actually remember vocabulary for a long time? Because learning a word today and forgetting it tomorrow, that can feel frustrating. And here's the good news. Forgetting is normal. Yes, you heard that right. Forgetting doesn't mean you're failing. It means your brain is deciding what deserves space. Your job is simply to show your brain. This word matters. Short pause. Think about your own life. How do you remember important moments? Not because you saw them once. You remember because you experience them repeatedly. Vocabulary works exactly the same way. Words become permanent through repeated encounters. Not repeated memorization. That difference matters. Pause. Here's a method I want you to try. I call it the rule of returning. When you learn a new word, don't leave it behind. Come back to it. Day learn the word. Day use the word. Day hear or read it again. Day create a new sentence. Day use it in conversation. That's how vocabulary moves from short-term memory to natural speaking. Think about it. Let's imagine you learn the word opportunity. Yokino day 1. This job is a great opportunity. 2 days later, I want more opportunities in life. A week later, learning English creates opportunities. Same word, different moments. Now your brain starts believing this word matters. And it stays. Short pause. Here's another secret fluent speakers use. They don't try to remember every word. That surprises many people. But it's true, fluent speakers ignore thousands of words they rarely use. Instead, they focus deeply on common words because communication isn't about knowing everything, it's about using enough words effectively. Think about your own language. Do you use every word you know every day? Probably not. So don't pressure yourself to remember everything, build useful vocabulary first, pause. Now I want to introduce something powerful. The 3 levels of knowing a word. Level 1, recognition. You see the word, you understand it. But you can't use it. Level 2, recall, you remember the meaning, but speaking still feels slow. Level 3, ownership. You use it naturally, no effort. Most learners stop at level 1. Your goal is level 3. So every time you learn a word, ask yourself, can I actually use this? If not, practice one more sentence. Think about it. Now let's talk about reading, because reading can become your vocabulary superpower. But only if you read correctly. Many learners stop every few seconds to check meanings. That breaks focus. Try this instead. Read for meaning first. Underline unfamiliar words. Finish the paragraph. Then check only important words. This keeps reading enjoyable and helps your brain learn naturally. Short pause, and here's something I want you to hear carefully. Enjoyment matters. If you hate the process, you won't continue, so choose English content you genuinely like: sports, business, movies, technology, travel, podcasts, stories, whatever makes you curious, because curiosity creates repetition, and repetition creates vocabulary. Pause. Let me ask you something. Have you ever watched the same movie more than once? Or listened to the same song repeatedly? Why? Because you enjoyed it. Now imagine doing that in English. The second time, you notice words. The third time, you predict sentences. The fourth time, you start using expressions. Can learning becomes effortless? Think about it. Here's your next challenge. Choose one piece of English content today. Watch it 3 times. First time, just enjoy. Second time, notice expressions. Third time, repeat a few lines. You'll be surprised how much stays in your mind. In a short pause, before we finish this part, remember this, vocabulary growth is not dramatic. It's quiet, tiny improvements repeated daily, and one day you suddenly realize you understand more than before, you speak more than before, you hesitate less than before. That's progress. And in the next part, we'll bring everything together and build a simple long-term roadmap to become naturally fluent in English. I can welcome back. If you've stayed with me until this point, first of all, thank you. Because that already says something important about you. You care about improving, you're willing to grow, and that mindset matters more than any vocabulary list. Today we've talked about natural learning, daily exposure, useful words, speaking, memory, habits. Now let's bring everything together, because information alone doesn't create results. Action does. Short pause. I want to show you a simple roadmap, not complicated, not overwhelming, and just something real that you can actually follow. I call it, the natural vocabulary growth roadmap. Step 1, input. Every day, listen or read something in English. Even 10 minutes counts. Podcasts, videos, stories, articles. Your goal is not understanding everything. Your goal is staying connected. Pause. Step 2. Capture. You can find a few words or expressions that feel useful. Ask yourself, would I actually say this? If yes, keep it. If not, let it go. Remember, not every word deserves your attention. Short pause. Step 3. Create sentences. And say them aloud. Write short thoughts. Use the words in daily life, because unused vocabulary slowly disappears. Used vocabulary becomes permanent. Think about it. Step 4. Connote return. Review naturally. Don't force long revision sessions. Just revisit words through conversations, through content, through speaking. That's enough. Simple system, powerful results. Pause. Now I want to share one mindset that can completely change your learning. Stop asking, how many words do I know? Start asking, how many words can I actually use? That question changes everything. Because language is not a collection, it's communication. Someone with wubat active words often speaks better than someone who memorized. Ling usage wins. Always. In short pause, and here's another truth. There will be days when you feel stuck, days when progress feels invisible, days when you forget words, days when speaking feels difficult. Don't panic. Growth often feels invisible while it's happening. Imagine planting a seed. You don't see movement every day, but underneath, roots are growing. Your English works the same way. Keep showing up. And think about it. Now close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You're watching videos in English and understanding naturally. You join conversations without fear. You explain ideas clearly. You express emotions confidently. You no longer translate every sentence. That version of you is built. One day at a time, not overnight. Pause. So here's your Sensors Day challenge. For the next Sensor Days, spend sur minutes with English daily. Learn only useful words. Use every new word in a sentence. Speak a little, think a little, repeat. That's all. Simple, consistent, natural. And after Sensors Days, look back. You may be surprised by how much changed. Short pause. Before we finish, I want to leave you with this. You do not become fluent by waiting for confidence. You become confident by practicing. Every word you notice, every sentence you say, every minute you spend with English counts. So don't chase perfection, build connection, keep listening, keep speaking, keep growing. And for one dada. And one day, English won't feel like something you study. It'll feel like something you use. Pause. Thank you for spending this time with me on FluentRise Podcast. If this episode helped you, share your biggest takeaway in the comments. And tell me, what English topics should we talk about next? Until next time, keep rising, keep learning, and keep speaking. See you in the next episode.